Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for Deborah Kobylt Live. What a special show I have. A friend of mine is in studio, Joanne Mosconi. Joanne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are an acting coach and teacher, and you are a phenomenal cook. I mean, I come to your home, and I'm in awe of everything you cook, always healthy. And you wrote the most extraordinary book, The Chef of Greenwich Village. And it's about growing up with your dad, who's an immigrant from Italy, and came here and opened one of the most well-known, famous restaurants in New York, Via Mosconi, and also Monti's in later years. And this is the story, not just of, it's a cookbook, really, of the recipes, but a story of your life with your dad. And it is so touching. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, really, I'm just stunned. I read the book. Of course, half of the recipes go over my head because, as you know, I am America's only Italian who just can't cook all that well. But I understand.
But the good news, Deborah, is I provided chef's tips, and I think since my dad loves you, if you can call him personally if you need one.
Oh, I would love. I know Pietro. I call him Pietro, but I call him, Papa Mosconi.
Yes.
I think everybody probably calls him that, right?
He has all kinds of nicknames.
Oh, he's wonderful. I love your dad so much. We just connected, but I think he probably connects with everybody. He's just that kind of a man. Tell me why you wrote this beautiful book, The Chef of Greenwich Village. Tell me.
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to write down my father's recipes. But for some reason, I thought I had all the time in the world to do it. And as you know, because we met in Los Angeles, I was living in only Los Angeles at the time. And I believe it was about over 4 years ago, I got a phone call. And it's that call you dread when you're living on the West Coast and your family is on the East Coast, when it's that time where you're like, this is not going to be a good call. And sure enough, it was my brother. And he was very calm, which made me think something's wrong. And I found out my father had a heart attack. And I get my heart pounding as I say that because that's what the experience was. Immediately, I went to New York, and things didn't look good. And I said to God, if he is able to come through and survive this, I'm going to change my life, come back to New York City somehow, some way, and follow him around his kitchen and write his cookbook. And fortunately, he survived.
Thank you.
And I always say I'm Italian and Catholic. We don't make promises to God and break them.
Oh, no, that's a curse. That's a big Italian curse.
It is.
No.
It's a sin.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was fortunate enough to relocate half-time to New York City and follow him around the kitchen, which wasn't easy.
I can imagine,
No.
because you know how Italians are. First of all, they have it all up here. So
Yes.
it's really very difficult to write anything down,
He has it all in his head.
He does have it all in his head. So
The best cooks always do.
my
Yeah.
mom did too, and because I don't naturally gravitate toward being a very good cook, she'd say, "No, just a watch of me," and
Yeah.
like I said, but not with you. So tell me how it all started. First of all, let's start with Dad and his story. Right?
Okay.
When did he come over here, and who did he come with?
My father is one of 7 children.
Always.
And he's the 5th son, the 5th child, actually.
child, okay.
There's only 2 boys in the family. And he came alone with his father. And it was in 1966, and they came on a ship. It was called the Michelangelo.
Of course.
One interesting fact about this ship was there was a big accident with the Michelangelo prior to my father's journey. So he came on the ship after it was through this accident. So there was a lot of fear, a lot of nerves. It was his first time ever going on a boat, let alone leaving his country.
Right.
And he was only
How scary.
Yeah.
And he only came with his dad. Everybody else
He
was
left
behind.
back his mom and his siblings behind. So he was homesick, he was seasick, and in this new country where he was told that you have to do something here. You have to make it. And he did.
What year was this that he
This
came
was
over?
1966.
Why did they come? Where were they from in Italy, and why did they? Because I know my family came over earlier in the century.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, mid-century. I don't know, all different times.
Yes.
But, in 66, it wasn't exactly a time when a lot of Italians were immigrating, Why then?
Well, they're from a small farm in the northern region of Italy. It's called Emilia-Romagna. Do you know that region?
Absolutely. Isn't it near Milan?
Yes, it's where
Milano.
prosciutto is from. It's where
Prosciutto.
Parmigiano cheese is from. It's
Oh.
it's the food basket of Italy. All the Italians are going to get mad now. But
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Emilia-Romagna,
I'm going to fight you on that. My people are from, Avellino, which is east
that's
of.
also beautiful food.
Yes, it's east of Pompeii and
Yes.
Naples, so they will fight you on that and forget about the Sicilians.
But that's the beauty of Italy, that each region
What, the
has
fighting?
the fighting and the passion for their food, because each region is very specific in their food. And because our book is a New York Italian book, we have many different regional dishes from all parts of Italy. But his true roots come from the Emilia-Romagna region. And his family was very poor. They lived on a farm in Cogno San Bassano. It's in the book. And
you went with him to visit
I
there,
did.
too,
I went to
didn't you?
visit.
Yeah,
And
those photos are all in the book, too. It's extraordinary.
well, I couldn't believe that the thing that I couldn't believe the most was the big gap between my brother and me and my dad, how he grew up and how we grew up. The big difference, because my father didn't even have a bed to sleep on. He slept on hay with his siblings. And to go to the bathroom, they had an outhouse. And if they wanted to eat, they had to catch their meal.
Yeah.
So very different. So he came to America to answer your question, for opportunity. He didn't have it in Italy, where they were from. And to have a future, really.
And it was him and his dad. And what did they do the minute they got off the boat? I mean, I believe that Grandpa
No.
kissed the ground.
He did.
Right.
He said to my father, I'm in my 50s, so I don't need to come here for me. I'm coming for you. And as soon as they got off the boat, and this is something I learned from writing the book. My father never told me this until I went into editing, actually. It made me very emotional. He said my grandfather went down on his knees like the Pope, kissed the ground and said, "God bless America." And my father said, I knew this place was special.
And then the siblings and his mom were left behind, right?
Yes.
And then when did they come?
They came a year later, the three youngest siblings. Yes, they came a year later with Mom. My father was ecstatic at the sight of them.
I know he was very close with Mama. So
Very close.
Then what with Mama?
Well, Mama was his favorite cook of all, and he was so excited for her to cook. But she said to him, I want to see what you're cooking, what you're learning here in New York. And he did. He cooked for her, and unfortunately, she tragically died very soon after, I believe, while he was cooking in the kitchen with her. She suffered a heart attack, and she was only 58 years old, and the family stability pretty much got rocked.
It does fall apart. When my mom died a few years back, it rocks everything. It still kind of has rocked everything.
Yeah.
They are the nucleus of the family, and when they go, especially unexpectedly, my mom did too, it is a shock.
It's a shock.
But it could give you a little bit of inner strength, which didn't that happen with Dad?
It did. It was that day. It was my Zia Antonietta. She said it, and I quoted her in the book. He went to her and said, I'm going to make my mom a promise that I'm going to be the best chef that I could be. And it was that day that he started really pursuing the culinary arts like he never did before. And
so when they first came here, did they move to Queens? Because, for people who don't know New York very well, there's 5 boroughs.
Yes.
And his restaurant is in Greenwich Village, which is in Manhattan. But did they move directly to Queens?
His first place that he stayed was in Queens because he had a cousin already living there. But then he was able to save enough money, and this was the true immigrant way. You don't spend, you save. He bought a building in Brooklyn, and his whole family came with. And they lived in a 6-family house. There were 7 brothers and sisters.
How
and
much fun. There's always somebody to play with, argue with, eat with.
I don't think they were playing. There was a lot of working going on.
I know, but I mean little kids,
18,
you know what I mean?
The little
teeny
kids might have, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's one thing he didn't have the opportunity to do was play.
Yeah, but I'm sure because of what he had left that he was grateful to have the opportunity to just work. I know your dad.
Oh, for him, the opportunity to work, it's a gift. The opportunity to wake up and work is not a burden. It's a gift, which is why I think his story is so important, where so many people sometimes feel burdened by going to work and think it's, something that hinders their day and their life. My father is absolutely opposite. He is so grateful to have that opportunity.
But, look at the immigrants today who want to come to our country. They want to come here primarily. They want to work. And it's very difficult because now so many people want to come over here to work.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult story as well.
It's a different time.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
It's a different time. So Dad, then when did he meet Mom, and when did he open Via Mosconi?
So he met Mom after he opened Villa Mosconi.
Villa, I say Via.
Because we're in LA and it's the Spanish version. But
oh
Villa,
no, you could tell
come
I don't
on,
speak
Deborah.
Italian very well.
Villa Mosconi.
Villa Mosconi.
So Italian, so intense.
I got this shirt at a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Carmel.
I love it.
Some years back. And everyone I know, like all my relatives, because my relatives all went to New Jersey, and they look at the shirt, they're like, please, find us the shirt. And I've yet to find it.
It's a good shirt.
Isn't it a great shirt? I wore it, obviously, just for you.
It looks quite sexy on you today.
Oh, thank you so much.
She's like an Italian bombshell
I'm
over here.
a little Italian, but I'm like a Sophia. No, but I wore it for you. So go ahead.
I love it.
Thank
so
you.
he opened with his family. It wasn't on his own. He did it with his brothers and sisters. They opened Villa Mosconi in, I almost said 1776. Goodness, 76, and met Mom 2 years later at an Italian dance, actually. It was a regional dance called the Valtrebi. I hope I'm saying that right. They'll let me know if I'm not. The Valtrebi dance. Valtrebbia, maybe.
I know you're gonna have to let her know.
I came 1 year later, so
wow,
I just
something
told you my
happened
age.
at that
Yes, the sparks flew.
A busy time, but what a beautiful time, right? The whole family's here from Italy. They're staying together.
They stayed
Dad's
together.
got his restaurant.
Yes.
Now, did he own, and does he own the building where Villa Mosconi
The
is?
family owns the building of both Villa Mosconi and Monte's. Yeah, they're in a partnership together. So the brothers and sisters all stuck together, which is a testament to their strength as a family. Because as you know, working with family could be tough, and they've done it. They've been doing it in New York City for over 43 years.
Right. Doesn't he work with nephews?
Nieces, cousins, uncles.
Would he give me a job there?
He would
throw me
love-
out of the kitchen. I could be the hostess or something, but I could definitely do
Deborah,
that.
I think we need to film you cooking with my father. I
Okay,
think
this
that
would be
great.
hysterical next time I go, because
Let's
you know
do
Dad
it.
would love to do that. Or at the very
Yes.
least, I'll take over the hostess duty that evening, and that would actually be so much fun.
And then your husband and your children are going to be so excited when you come back with all these Italian dishes.
I have them from my mom.
Yes.
This is what they would call me. You'll understand. The pest. It's
The
like
pest.
the pest. I was the pest as a little girl.
No.
It's like, get out of the kitchen. You're the pest, because I would always spill stuff and flour would go all over the place. So I didn't really get an opportunity to cook much.
Well, you're going
because
to cook with me.
That's why.
I'm
if
going
you're
to
ever
teach
wondering,
you.
and I sort of carried that with me into adult life.
Yeah, no,
and
that stays with you.
it does stay with you, and as many times as I've tried, I'll burn something. I mean, I have a whole comedy routine about my cooking, but maybe it's time for a change. So
We're gonna do it
and
together.
It can start perhaps with this book. I don't know how you did this, because it's, I just love everything about it. The ingredients, the little tips that you have from Dad.
The tips are all his.
Yeah, but it's filled with your photos. You've got everything in here, from ravioli to gorgeous photos of you in Italy and with your dad.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you've got 300 pages of your dad's recipes from here on the book, and you made it easy for us,
Thank you.
which is what's amazing.
Thank
Tell
you
me
so much.
about Dad. What's he like? And I think we might call him in a few minutes. In fact,
Uh-oh.
if Kurt can maybe try and see if we can get him on the phone from New York
Can
City.
you handle him?
Can
I
I-
think you can.
Oh, I can handle
I
Pietro.
know you can handle
I
him.
can handle Pietro. And your mom, too. Your mom is lovely. Your
Thank
mom is
you.
the backbone of your father. I need to be very clear
She
about
is.
that.
She was the reason why I was able to write this book, because it was my mom, and I mentioned this in the book, that she was the school teacher that made it possible for my father to go to work. We didn't have one of those modern families where the dad comes home and helps mom. You see that today, where the guys are carrying the babies on their back and the women are splitting the duties. For our family, my mom did everything, and my father was the provider. And he needed her to do that in order for him to do what he did. I hear him, so I better.
I hear him. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hear him. Am I going to be able to hear him, Kurt?
I'm going to bring up the volume.
Bring up the volume.
Hello. Very good.
I got to make it a little louder, I think.
I hear hello.
Hi, Mr. Mosconi. Can you make it a little louder for me? Can you talk a little louder for me?
Oh, man, you left me and you never came back.
Oh my! I told you. He
Did
says
you hear that? Oh, my God. You know what? I promise, when I come back, I'm going to not just visit your restaurant. Maybe we'll cook a little bit in the kitchen. What do you think about that, Mr. Mosconi?
Yeah, I want to cook with you.
Oh, you are so charming. I mean,
charming.
Yes.
to you say that,
I
but
cook with you.
oh, I will cook with you
I'm
too.
all along over here and I miss you.
Oh,
There's
I
like
miss,
a flirtation going
no,
on here.
there is a thing going on between me and your dad.
God.
Shh, I miss you too, but I have to tell you, Mr. Mosconi, Papa Mosconi, I'm going to call him, because I don't have my papa, so you're going to have to be my papa now. But this book is extraordinary, and I saw the video that your daughter Joanne did, and I saw you crying when she was, which is on YouTube, by the way, everybody. Please check that out.
I didn't believe I was going to cry, but you're definitely correct. I was stunned because I never thought that she could do such a fantastic work like that. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you must be.
She did a job like I never dreamed in my life.
Yeah,
Thank
but
God I got a daughter. That's all I can tell you.
I know I heard you, and you've got 3 kids, right? 2 sons and a daughter.
Just one son.
One son. Why do I
No,
think
no,
there's?
I got only one son and one daughter.
Well, oh, you know what I'm thinking of? The little
Pietro.
the little
Yeah,
baby
the
Pietro.
little
I don't know
one,
why I
yeah,
thought there were two of them. No, you always need a daughter. I have 3 sons, God bless them, but I know what you
Yeah.
mean. A daughter's got that heart, and she will put something like this together. I mean, from what I understand, also, ever since this book came out, people are lined around the block to go to Via Mosconi's, right? And
Yeah, I
Monty's.
know it's very busy, very busy.
Yeah. What are you most?
Definitely, definitely everything that we help, of course, because if you never mention, nobody will know you. So
Well, everybody knows you
the
now,
media is
that's for sure,
very
from coast to coast. So, what are you most
yeah.
proud of with this book? I mean, there's so much. I mean, it's got to be your daughter. The love, you can feel the love on every page and every written word, which, by the way, it's beautifully written. It's
Yeah,
extraordinary.
yeah. I think we didn't see the because when you have a talent like that to be able to write with such a fine way, I can get over. You know, it's amazing. I'm just lucky that she's my daughter.
Yeah. Well, she takes after you and she takes after your wife. That's all I can say. So, it's the two
Yeah,
of you.
that
Well,
is for sure. That is for sure.
yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. I just wanted to get you on. You want to say anything to Dad?
I love you.
I love you too.
I love
Thank
you
you very
too.
much.
I love you back.
I love you more.
Oh.
Now get some rest. Stop cooking. Go home.
Okay. And this is the
I love
relationship.
you more. I love you more.
No pasta, no bread.
You're always looking
I
after
love
him.
you more.
All right, thank you for joining
don't
us,
know.
Kirby. Thank you very much.
If I listen to her with the diet, I think I'm going to check in the crazy house.
This is such an Italian family conversation.
Yeah.
The crazy house, the this, the cooking. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to get you on the phone and say hello.
Thank you very much for being neutral. That you're not like my daughter. Otherwise, I would have to climb the walls.
I don't know what he's talking about.
How about this? Thank you, grazie, and ciao to you. It's the only Italian words I know, which is
sì,
horrible.
grazie mille. Grazie mille. Spero di vederti presto. I
He
hope I
hopes to
will
see
see
you
you soon.
Oh,
Because
me
you
too.
waited too long to come to New York.
You know, I have. Usually I come much more often, like a couple of times a year,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
But we've been so involved in what's going on out here, honestly, with our kids. I haven't been able to make it, but I promise I'm going to make it next year in 2020. I have to.
Better.
All right.
Thank you for joining
thank
us.
you
Ciao.
So much.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.
My God, how adorable is this man? He just reminds me of my family and all my relatives. Look, you put a lot of heart into this. I know you, Joanne. You are an Italian girl, the daughter of immigrants, of an immigrant father. How do you feel now that you've gotten this? Look at a beautiful cover.
Well,
too.
I'm getting a lot of credit, but I did not do this on my own. My husband was a huge
John, your
supporter.
husband, John
Oh,
Piano.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He does not call himself a writer, but he is.
Yes, he is. He's
I
a
call him
proofreader. I know John.
Not
Yes.
just a proofreader. He's like the F. Scott Fitzgerald of cookbooks. He took a lot of my words, and I mean that, and he made it sound so much better than I ever could. And he was also a big supporter. I think everyone needs that, because when I first brought up the idea that I wanted to do a cookbook, I had so many people give me all the reasons why I shouldn't.
Why do people do that?
I don't know.
Wait, who
but
does that?
I love when people tell me that, because that makes me want to do it even more.
Why don't people just say, "What a great idea! Your father has all of
people
these
don't,
recipes."
because people are scared to take on projects. I really think that. And my husband was the opposite. He was so supportive. He was the one who was always putting some fire under me to, when is this book going to be done? If I didn't have him, it wouldn't have been done. And I'm lucky for that. So I can't take full credit 100%, because I had a major supporter who helped me with the designs, the cover, everything, really.
Really? Well, it's just a beautiful book. And what a great, if you can get enough of them in stock. I mean, the minute you get them in, they're
We
flying
sold
off.
so many.
Yeah, I know you did.
We're
What a
out
great
of stock.
Christmas.
We're going to be having them after the New Year.
Christmas.
People can pre-order. Yeah.
Christmas. And if not, look, if you can't get them in time, then yeah, after the New Year. It's like,
We
it's
weren't
okay.
expecting this, to be honest with you.
Really? Isn't that
No,
something I would have expected? Look,
I was not expecting this response.
for those who know New York, I mean, your dad's restaurant is an institution. I'm surprised. If you had asked me,
He's
I
a
would have said,
legend. They call him that. My father's a legend.
well, that's why he's the chef of
Yeah.
Greenwich Village. Let's talk a little bit about this.
Tell me.
Some of the famous people that have walked through his door. I know that you
goodness.
told me a little bit about what, Mr. Pitt, Brad Pitt. Let's talk
That
about
was
that.
back in the day where we were all in love with Brad Pitt. My father had no idea who he was.
So
This
what did
was
he
at
say?
Villa Mosconi and People magazine. That's how we found out. They said Brad Pitt and Gwyneth said that Villa Mosconi is their favorite restaurant. And when I asked him, I showed him a picture. I said, Dad, you didn't tell me Brad Pitt was here? I would have came. And he said, let me see the photo. Oh, that guy, that bum, he wears a hat coming into the restaurant. And, you know, literally, and I think that's why celebrities, he doesn't think he's a bum, but in Italian restaurants, you would never wear a hat.
No,
would
that's
be
actually
a-
considered
Yes,
disrespectful.
society-
Even to old-fashioned Italians, you know, the old world Italians, it's like, you take over the hat.
You take off the hat. But
Yeah.
goodness, there's been so many over the years. I'm trying to think. Josh Brolin, Diane Lane, not Emma Thompson, the one from La La Land. What was her name? The redhead. Beautiful.
Who is she?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. I can't think. Matt Damon. There's so many through the years. Giuliani. Loved art, food. Mayor Giuliani.
And I love this. Didn't you grow up like right around the block from the Trumps, right, in Jamaica Estates?
I did. I grew up about 3 blocks away from where Donald
So,
Trump grew up.
Being that your dad's an immigrant, what did he used to say? Didn't he have you go ride your bike past there?
So
or
when,
what?
when I was living there, Mr. and Mrs. Trump, Donald's parents, still lived there. Donald was already well into Manhattan. He was very much an entrepreneur and doing very well. And my father was so excited that the Trumps lived 3 blocks away. He would have my brother and me. My mom did not know about this. She would not take any part in this, but he would make us ride our bike and go outside the Trump house, and we would ring the doorbell.
What?
My dad was in his 30s, so this was play for him. And he'd be like, look at me. I'm an immigrant who just came here with nothing in my pocket, and I'm living a few blocks away from the Trumps. And
Hang
it was
on.
exciting.
Back it up. You
Yeah.
would ring the doorbell?
We did that like once.
But what did you do? Run away?
We were 2 little kids. We rang and got back on our bicycle, and we thought it was the funnest thing in the world.
I know. I used to do crazy things like that, right? And it's like, why? But but Dad was excited. He really made it
Yes.
from the farm with an outhouse. Now he's
Yes.
living around the block from the Trump family.
President of the United States, yeah.
His parents. Yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty extraordinary. I get it. I get
Whether
my
people
my
like
relative-
Donald or not, for him,
Yes,
it's
isn't
an
a political
achievement. Yeah.
thing. But no, my family was always the same way. You know, you have to get an education. They always used to say something that I found irritating. Total it up at 25. What does that mean?
What
But
does
it
that
was
mean?
their way of trying to inspire you. Be somebody by the time you're 25. I'm like, hello, I'm 5 years old. What are you
yeah,
talking
but
about?
that's
But you know how Italians are. You know, they're very passionate.
That's
about
why
it.
we're so Italian, so intense.
I know.
Like the shirt.
There's
I
no doubt
love
about
it.
What was it like following Dad around in the kitchen? I mean, I know you, and you're very subdued at the moment.
I have a
But
lot of energy
You
usually.
got a lot of energy, girlfriend. So what was
Yes.
going on?
Well, I think that the best way to describe this experience was I had to keep my eye on the goal. Because if I didn't, I would have quit. I hope he's not listening. I probably
course
would have
he's
quit
listening.
after the first recipe because we weren't just getting recipes. He was running a kitchen, 2
Right.
kitchens, really. So I'd show up all ready after culinary school, like a fresh graduate, ready to do a recipe, ready to do mise en place, which means you take all your ingredients, you measure it, and then you start cooking. And that's not what happened. What happened was, you want to cook? Come on. Follow me, watch. And then he would be doing another dish at the same time. And I'd be like, wait, but what recipe are we working on? And then somebody would order lasagna and he'd be doing that. So I'd spend 8 hours sometimes just to get one recipe. And it didn't mean I got the right ingredients because it was all mixed up. And I'd go home and I'd watch my videos. So this book.
So you would take videos every time you were doing
yeah.
this with Dad.
Yes, I had to.
Extraordinary research. I have to tell you, everything from soups to pastas, fish and shellfish, which I know is a big deal in the Italian,
Especially
back
in the South, yeah.
in the South particularly.
Yes.
There's not one thing that you left out. Stocks and sauces. If people are cooks,
The
they know what
reason
that
why,
means.
yeah, the stock is everything.
The stock is everything.
And my father's stocks are out of this world. They're really
Really?
great. It's magic.
But this is not a cookbook. You know that. This is a family story. And the story surrounds the food.
Thank you.
And the pictures. You've got his little grandson in here cooking. And wait, and look, is he wearing a Yankees cap? Is that what
He
he's
is wearing
Is he
a
a
Yankees
Yankees
cap.
guy then, or is he a Mets guy?
For my nephew Pietro's sake, I'm going to say my father is now a Mets guy.
Okay.
Pietro is a Mets fan, and he tallies every customer at the restaurant to find out if they're Yankees or Mets. So
How many years to do this book? It's
took 4
extraordinary.
years from start to finish, but however, I did not work on that straight. I did a play in New York at the same time, and
What's the name of the play?
You Love That I'm Not Your Wife.
Extraordinary play,
Thank
which you've
you.
also done
Thank
here.
you. Yes, I came here to talk about the play, right? No, Blake did. One of my actors. Yeah.
Blake Boyd, who's,
Yes.
by the way, an extraordinary film and television
Yes.
actor who was in your play. So, okay, you've done a play. You love that I'm
Not your wife.
not your wife. I loved it. It's a scenario of different, different things going on at the same time. You've got a couple, you've got a cheating couple, you've got the older guy with
Yeah,
the
it's
younger
different
girl.
stages of relationships.
Different stages of relationships. I loved it. Oh, Blake was nasty in that, I remember. And I mean, great, but his character, right?
Yeah, he was a little bit of a player.
So you're doing that. You're also a teacher. You're a drama teacher. You've been a drama teacher at a private school here in Los Angeles, an exclusive school, which is actually how I met you. You teach drama online, right? Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Honestly, I haven't been doing that as much as I used to. I'm not taking on new clients, but I still have all my clients that I'm working with, and I basically teach acting online. I help actors prepare for auditions. I help people who are having issues with confidence in public speaking or just getting out of their head. For those of us who get stuck in our head, me including, exercises to just help us break free from all of that. And they could be applied to all areas of life, whether you're going to be a performer, whether you're a creative writing a book, whether you're a chef who's going to start being on camera and teaching your recipes, just having an outlet to find the best, most effective way of storytelling.
What about a cooking show for you and Dad?
I
Not
would
just
love that.
you, but you and Dad.
That's where my next goal is.
Is that your next goal?
Yes, it is.
I knew it. I'll be the executive producer.
I would love
just
to do
felt
that.
it, right? You and Dad,
Yeah.
because Dad doesn't even know that the camera's there. Once he goes, he just starts talking. And
However,
then-
have you noticed a difference in our videos? My father is loving the camera. People are noticing it. He cannot wait for me to pull out that cell phone and start filming him.
you can't teach chemistry, and you just can't teach that. He's
He
got that
loves
it
it.
thing.
Yes, he does.
Mr. Pietro, you've got the it thing. I mean, look at the way he flirts. You just talk to him.
Oh, my goodness.
I miss you, Deborah.
But that's an Italian thing, no? All those Italian men do. They know how to do the whole amore.
And the women, too.
They're gifted, the Italian men.
And
I
women,
just want to
too.
know, how many women are they saying that to?
everyone.
Everything.
You walk away thinking, I'm his favorite.
Oh,
And-
they can make you feel like you're the best thing in the planet.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's why a woman will show up and smack the hell out of him, right? Not your
Right.
dad, I just mean in any event. But okay, so do you have a favorite recipe or two from this? I know, come on.
Difficult. It depends on whether I want to be super healthy or if I want to really let go and eat whatever I want. Which one do you want?
Let go.
Let go. Okay, I'm going to say then the fettuccine bolognese is probably my either that or the lasagna bolognese.
You know that's my husband John's favorite.
Is
When
it?
we've come to your house, your husband makes a great sauce.
Yes,
Oh my
his
God.
isn't the bolognese. He does the Sunday sauce.
Oh, he does the
the
Sundays.
grandma sauce. Yeah, the tomato with the meatballs and the sausage.
Right, he loves that.
He loves
so
that.
You do the bolognese.
I do
do
the
you make your
bolognese.
own pasta? Does
Of
Dad?
course.
So by hand. You know, my middle son does that. He makes all his own.
I know. I
from
want to do it with
scratch.
him.
He's extraordinary.
You've
Wouldn't
got
that
to
be
make
fun?
it by hand. You feel the love in the pasta when you make it by hand.
Yeah, that's what he does.
And everybody's hands are different. So depending on who's touching the pasta, I can actually taste the difference.
It is true.
When my father makes it or somebody else does in the restaurant. I always know.
This is something a lot of people don't realize. In the Italian culture, the men are often the cooks. Is that correct?
I think
Often.
it varies. Yeah. And the sausage.
Fair enough, right? Or a fair amount
Yes.
of them, right? Are often the cooks. And what about in Italy? Wouldn't you find that a lot of Italians are actually trim?
Oh,
You
they're
go-
so thin. I put this in my book in the dessert section. My favorite thing to do in Italy, I even put this on Instagram, is I'll see a very, very lean person and I want to ask them, well, what do you eat? And want to know what they respond.
Everything.
Every day. I eat the pasta, I eat the dessert, the bread, the pizza, and they do. They
Right,
eat
they
it
don't
every
gorge.
day.
Okay, but is it something that when they came to this country, because I know when I was a little girl, it's like, have a more, have a more. It's like, oh, look, she had eight helpings of meatballs. It's
Well, I
like,
think,
How
yeah.
about stop?
I think the immigrant mentality was we had so little, eat everything on your plate. I grew up hearing a lot of family members saying that. And when the plate has got triple the portion, we really don't need to eat like that. In Italy, they have it down to a science
They
because
do.
they have a first course. The first course is pasta.
Right, it's not the salad.
Right, but in America, people ordered the pasta as their main course, so of course you're going to eat heaps and heaps of pasta. If you eat just a handful of pasta, you'll always be satisfied. So the Italians don't detox. depriving themselves. It's the
live.
deprivation that makes us stressed out. I talk to so many people in LA who are not eating this, they're doing this detox, and they look miserable. Go to Italy, they're eating pasta, they're drinking wine, they're in the sun, and they look great.
And they have a siesta, right?
Yes.
That is so important.
They take
we just
time
don't
off.
that would never happen.
It's called
in this.
dolce fare niente. You know that term?
Yeah.
The art of doing nothing, the sweet of doing nothing. I think I'm saying that right.
But that also brings your body back to where it's supposed to
It's
be instead
important.
of going all day long. I mean, it would be great if we could apply some of that in this country.
I need to. I don't know how to do that.
No.
Yeah.
When you're raised here, it's always go, go, go from the minute you wake up until the second you drop your head on the pillow. And
It's
there
true.
is no siesta. And that's why I think, we gain weight. We're
Well, because we're
stressed.
always on the go in America.
Yeah.
We eat standing up. The one thing I learned in Italy, I try to practice this, and I learned this from my own family. You sit down and have a meal. You put out proper table setting and you enjoy it. And you don't just have one course. You make the meal last and you talk because everything happens at the table. And at the core of every family is food. It's the heart. So I think that food is so important. And you can eat very healthy, delicious food in this book because Italian cooking is pure. The ingredients are very simple. And we also have some decadent dishes as well if you want to go all out for a dinner party or whatnot. So the levels of difficulty in the book vary from there's beginning recipes all the way to something advanced like doing the veal ossobuco.
I tell you, I read it and I thought I can tackle this. In fact, I'm going to make one of these recipes.
Which one are you going to do?
I'm not sure because I need Jordan, my middle son, to help me
Oh, he'll be
pick
great,
it out
yeah.
because he'll say, Mom, you can handle this one.
Why don't you do the lasagna?
The lasagna?
Yes.
I have a
That
lasagna
one is
recipe,
so-
but mine is so simple. Yours just,
Well,
I think,
ours
would
is
have
the
a little
northern
more.
Italian
Yes, I'm gonna
lasagna.
try
It's the
that.
lasagna with the bechamel and the bolognese. It's delicious.
Wow. I love this because we only have a few more moments and the acknowledgments are terrific. Dad, I'm so honored to write this book about you. It's my greatest and most meaningful accomplishment. The book has reconnected me to you in a way I've always longed for, and I feel blessed that I'll have it to cherish throughout my life. When you read that to your father, I saw you reading that. Again, please look up this YouTube video. He cried.
He did. I didn't expect that.
Really?
It was hard for me to get through. He doesn't cry usually.
Yeah.
Italian men are tough, you know. He doesn't show that kind of emotion. I don't know what came over him, but he cried a lot. And I just kept filming because I wanted that moment forever.
Yeah.
My house was a mess. If you see it in the video, there was sheets on the couch. It was not the most beautiful
Well, it was very
staged
authentic.
moment. It was
it
extremely
actually reminded
authentic.
me of an Italian house. You
Yes.
know, if it's not sheets on the couch, it's going to be plastic. Something's going to be on there. So, what's your takeaway from doing this book? What do you want people to learn for their own lives? Maybe they don't have a cookbook in them, but what else?
You know, there's so many things, but I think that the thing that's really resonating for me and a lot of people I speak with is that we think we have all the time in the world to spend with our family. We really do. And we never know when that day stops. So if there is something that you haven't done with your family, if there's a story you want to hear, get interested. It doesn't have to be because you're going to write a book that you're going to publish. It might be because you want to save it. I learned so much about my father. And remember, when I was growing up, he was building 2 restaurants. So we didn't spend time together. So I
Right.
got to spend that time. And I have no regrets from any of it. So if you have a family member that you want to spend time with, no matter what they do, a stay-at-home mom, a doctor, carpenter, somebody who is a gardener, whoever, whatever
Doesn't matter
it is.
what they do. They all have some.
We
kind
all
of
have a story.
Yeah.
And these are your family members, and they're not here forever.
And it is important to go back a little bit because I went back and met my family from Italy for the very first time in my life last Christmas. And it was extraordinary, and I felt compelled to do that after my parents died. And I met them, and they took me to where my grandfather lived and where they came from. And the fact that I've been to Italy so many times, and the fact that I never went to where they were from seems a little odd to me, but I did. And now we're friends, and I'm going to go back and spend more time there. So to your point, if you have an opportunity to do something, and sadly my parents were gone, but do it because
You just never know.
you just never know.
And that heart attack for me was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It was a wake-up call to make changes. And I still live my life like that. Every phone call he makes, even if it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, I'm so happy I'm getting this call.
I was like that too.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And I love it when he called, you sort of were like, Dad, I think you were telling him what to do, how to eat or something. It's just such an Italian
It's a
relationship.
war because he's
I
a
know.
chef and he loves pasta and he loves all the things he's not supposed to eat. So
Plus,
he
they
calls
don't
me
listen.
the dictator. It's a terrible name. The dictator showed up. I'm going to ship her to La La Land, but it's okay.
Look at me, I was the pest. So that's their way of endearing you,
Yes.
right? Oh, beautiful. How can people get the book, please?
They can
I know
get
it's
the
sold
book.
out, but
Yes, I mean, we're accepting back orders. The website is thechefsdaughter.nyc, thechefsdaughter.nyc, and also at Monty's, directly from Monty's Trattoria. If they show up and have dinner, which so many people do, they can purchase the book right there. We are accepting orders for after Christmas, and we're going to put together a little gift for people who can't get the book, but something to say your book is coming. So
oh, that's lovely.
it's a sold out book. You want to get your copy. And yeah, I think this is going to go down into Greenwich Village history because it's also got a lot of that as well. So
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, very beautiful. Thank you. So anything else you want to add? I mean, there's so many stories, so many.
The holidays are here. Now is the perfect time to spend time with your families and get these recipes. What better time than Christmas?
Yeah, no, thank you. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Do you have any of these online? Because on your social media, let's just say the book is sold out. It would be great to say, hey, if you can't get the book,
To purchase
or
it
if you're
online.
getting the book, here's a recipe you could try for Christmas. It's a great tease, don't you think?
Ooh, she's giving me some great ideas.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
going,
I want you to do well with
Yeah.
this. I mean, not that you need me. So.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Pietro. And thank you, your husband, your mom, your entire family. I know there's a whole village of them.
The whole Mosconi family. It
Yeah.
includes so many people. Yeah.
Thank you all for enriching our lives down in Greenwich Village and Monty's Restaurant. Please go check out the restaurant. Make a reservation. Villa
She did it. I love it.
Mosconi's
Mosconi.
and Monty's are
Yeah.
right kind of next door to each other.
They're on the
And
same
pick up the
block.
book,
Yep.
The Chef of Greenwich Village by Joanne Mosconi, the story of her father, Chef Pietro Mosconi. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Deborah.
loved having you. And
I love
thank you
you.
so much
Thank
for
you.
being here for Deborah Kobylt Live. This really is touching, very close to my heart. I appreciate it. I hope you pick up the book. Maybe we can even give one away once they're back in stock. What do you think?
Yes,
That'd be
yes,
kind
that'd
of
be
cool.
great.
We'll have to do that at a later time. So thank you for being here, Deborah Kobylt Live. Thank you, everybody in New York and New Jersey, who I know are watching, all my Italian people. And please pick up the book for Christmas and beyond if you can't get a copy. The Chef of Greenwich Village. Thank you for being here. See you next time. Bye.